Want to know why? Ask how. Howard, the humongous. God, can't pronounce a thing tonight. Okay, Muhammad Ali's funeral took place on Friday, June the 11th of 2016. And something strange happened, something very strange. 3 world leaders were scheduled to give speeches. Bill Clinton, Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, and Jordan's King Abdullah II. Erdogan, who is trying to become Turkey's dictator for life, he's working very hard at it, and very effectively, unfortunately, and is simultaneously working to get Turkey into the European Union, made it to a memorial gathering the night before the funeral in Louisville, Kentucky. He made it all the way to Louisville, the guy who runs Turkey. And a party was given in Louisville in his honor by American Turks who had been thrown out of their home country by Joseph Stalin. What's more, Erdogan came bearing gifts. He was accompanied by Turkey's religious leader, who wanted to read from the Quran at the funeral the next day, and he carried a piece of sacred cloth from the Kaaba in Mecca, Islam's most holy site. Pretty amazing. Erdogan wanted to place that piece of cloth on Muhammad Ali's coffin. Now here's where things get strange. Bill Clinton is merely a former head of state. He left office in 2001. But Erdogan and King Abdullah are acting heads of state. That is a big deal. They are in power today, so you'd think their speeches at Ali's funeral would have been given priority, especially when they came all of that way. But they weren't. In fact, Turkey's Recep Tayyip Erdogan and Jordan's King Abdullah were bounced from the ceremony. Their slots were taken away. At the last minute, while Erdogan was actually in Louisville for the occasion. Okay, why? Here's a guess. Recep Tayyip Erdogan is the head of an Islamist party. His political party wants to shuck constitutional law and go all the way back to Sharia. And during his 13-year reign, Sharia is the direction that Erdogan has been taking Turkey. Erdogan is also a close ally of the Muslim Brotherhood. You probably recall that the Muslim Brotherhood took over Egypt for a year in 2012 and 2013. Then the Muslim Brotherhood was kicked out by a military dictator, al-Sisi. Ever since then, Turkey has been the Muslim Brotherhood's base. Erdogan has given the Muslim Brotherhood all the room it wants to have meetings, to train people, and to play. Not that they play much. Now, look, the Muslim Brotherhood has a plan for North America. Hard to believe, right? It issued that plan in 1991. The Muslim Brotherhood's goal is, frankly, to take over your country and mine and to turn it into a Sharia state, a Muslim nation. Yep, to turn America into a Sharia-ruled Islamic nation. Now that sounds crazy. It sounds like something Donald Trump would come up with. It sounds racist. But it's not fantasy, it's not racist, it doesn't come from Donald Trump, and it is not mere paranoia. It's real. The Muslim Brotherhood issued and this is the name of it, an explanatory memorandum on the general strategic goal for the group in North America, and it issued it on May 22nd of 1991. Says that memorandum, America is now in the process of what the document calls settlement, the equivalent to what happened when the Muslims left Mecca under pressure and went to Medina and infiltrated the town and then took the town over and then turned it into a totalitarian military dictatorship in which anybody who questioned Muhammad was killed instantly. Settlement. Meaning that Muslims are moving into the USA with the goal of taking over the place. That's not how the Muslims moving into the United States may see it, But that's how the Muslim Brotherhood sees it. Okay, many American Muslims may well disagree with this goal, but here's what the Muslim Brotherhood says that it is out to achieve with settlement. Quote, "The process of settlement is a civilization jihadist process. With all the word means, the Muslim Brotherhood must understand that our work in America is a kind of grand jihad to eliminate and destroy the Western civilization from within, and to sabotage its miserable house by their hands and the hands of the believers." In other words, the Muslim Brotherhood wants to get us to sabotage the, quote, miserable house of our civilization by our own hands. It wants to propagandize and disorient us. It wants to cause us to lose faith in ourselves. It wants to prey on our doubts about ourselves and prey on our guilt over our past. It wants us to feel our self-punishing guilt so intensely that we, quote, sabotage our miserable house by our own hands with a little help from the believers. How does the Brotherhood intend to achieve this? First off, the Brotherhood's memorandum listed, and this is back in 1991, 26 cover organizations and organizational allies through which it operated. These were groups like the Muslim Students Association, which is active on campuses all over North America, the Islamic Society of North America, and the Council of American Islamic Relations, CARE, the group that you see popping up every time somebody needs to say, after an incredible, appalling terrorist attack by Muslims, that Islam is a religion of peace. That's CARE. It's been listed by one of the major Gulf nations in the last 6 months as a terrorist organization. That's one of the branches of the Muslim Brotherhood, pretending to be moderate. Says the Muslim Brotherhood's explanatory memorandum, wait, we've got that. No, this is new. Bear with me. Says the Muslim Brotherhood's explanatory memorandum on the general strategic goal for the group in North America, quote, "We must possess a mastery of the art of coalitions, the art of absorption, and the principles of cooperation. In other words, the Muslim Brotherhood has to make alliances and coalitions with as many groups in America as possible. It has to be absorbed in those groups. But its goal is clear. As this memorandum says, that goal, quote, is a kind of grand jihad in eliminating and destroying Western civilization from within." Miserable Western civilization. Your civilization. My civilization. That may well have been why Erdogan wanted to be a star at Muhammad Ali's funeral. He may have wanted to claim Muhammad Ali as the kind of convert who shows up the possibility of bringing America into the worldwide Ummah, the global community of Islam. Erdogan put it like this, quote, "While he went from victory to victory in the boxing rings, Muhammad Ali also became the voice of the Muslims in all corners of the world, as well as of the oppressed and the aggrieved." Note that word, oppressed. It doesn't mean what you and I think it does. It refers in militant Islam to any Muslim who is kept from living under Allah's own form of law, God's own form of law, Sharia law. Any Muslim, for example, who is forced to live under a constitution written by human beings, like the American Constitution. Every Muslim living in America, in this interpretation, can be considered oppressed. And what do you have to do to remove oppression from Muslims? Jihad, war of some kind, or deception, which is also a form of jihad. In militant Islam, and probably in the mind of Turkey's Erdogan, all American Muslims are oppressed. Muhammad Ali's funeral organizers stressed peaceful Islam. The imam who presided was Zaid Shakir, whose writings preach peace and avoid Islam's war-making side. The route of the funeral procession stressed Muhammad Ali's ties to the American black community and to his hometown of Louisville. The hearse and the cars accompanying it drove past Muhammad Ali's childhood home, the Ali Center, the Center for African American Heritage, and then down Muhammad Ali Boulevard. The speakers and guests made it clear that Muhammad Ali was a part of Western civilization, the very civilization that the Muslim Brotherhood wants to get you and me to dismantle with our own hands. Cat Stevens, who converted to Islam and is now known as Yusuf Islam, helped carry the coffin. Bill Clinton, comedian Billy Crystal, who is Jewish, and Rabbi Michael Lerner spoke. Spike Lee, David Beckham, Will Smith, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Whoopi Goldberg were in the audience. It is very likely that the organizers of Muhammad Ali's funeral sensed what Erdogan stood for, and that may well be why he and King Abdullah were bumped from the speakers list. Erdogan and Abdullah may well have been bounced to make sure that Muhammad Ali was not used as a pawn in the 1,400-year-long goal of militant Islam, global conquest. Muhammad Ali was against imperialism and colonialism. And somewhere his funeral organizers may have sensed that under the skin, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is a cheerleader for imperialism and colonialist expansion. The imperialist and colonialist, bear with me while I turn this page, the imperialist and colonialist expansion of Islam. The resumption, that is Erdogan, is quietly cheering for the resumption of the expansion that has given Islam, an Arab religion from a tiny corner of the Middle East, a territory 11 times the size of the conquest of Alexander the Great, 5 times the size of the Roman Empire, and 7 times the size of the United States. Through colonialism and imperialism, Islam holds a territory of that size today. That may well be what was under this very strange rejection of Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who was already in Louisville, ready to take over the starring role in Muhammad Ali's funeral procession, and King Abdullah, who wanted to fly all the way from Jordan. This is Howard the Humongous, speaking to you from the future. It's your job and my job to make. Or, want to know why? Ask how. And now let's see if I actually can gracefully do this, oh God, where is it? Off button.